fellas, welcome back to Cringe Confessional, the cringiest show on the internet. I set up a Google form where Twitch chat could send me their most embarrassing anonymous stories. Tales of cringe and humiliation and embarrassment like you've never seen before. And tonight, I'm gonna read them. Also, you can submit to this series yourself. Did you know that? Cringe.coney.gg. Submit your most embarrassing story. Also, like and subscribe, or else. Let's get to cringing, shall we?
During my senior year in high school, I went through a lot of different phases of hyperfixations.
Right.
These would often bleed into my school projects and assignments.
That's...
Unfortunately, I wasn't a very sociable kid, so there wasn't anyone around to talk me out of it.
That's a shame.
To name
Somebody should have stopped you.
I made a PowerPoint presentation on the history of Minecraft and ended up doing a AP Lit story based on UGIO Abridged.
You know, those aren't that bad. I don't think it's that bad. Everybody in chat is making fun of you. I don't think it's that bad. Who said education can't be fun, huh? 17, 18 years old? Okay, wait, did they say senior year of high school? Oh, I retract my previous statements.
At the time of making the project I was really into, well, I won't name drop, but it was an infamous glasses and necktie movie reviewer on YouTube.
Sure, I think
You know the one.
I think I do.
So my project was to make and edit and short
the
film.
one.
What ended up happening was I did a movie review of The Amazing Spider-Man. And since I didn't really have any friends or ways to film myself, I ended up having a teacher film me doing it the most cringe-worthy impressions of the aforementioned YouTuber trying to emulate the style, even going as far as calling myself the nitpicker.
Dude, teachers don't get paid enough to deal with this shit. Is he staying after school to cultivate your curious mind?
The worst part is I never actually completed the movie review.
I don't think that's the worst part.
The whole thing just abruptly ends with a cutaway gag, and then the "it's a trap" clip from Star Wars. The only silver lining is that only about 5 people were in the class who saw it, and to this day it remains a stain in my memories I do not look back on fondly.
I would love to see that video. I really would. Only 5 people have seen it, but there's about 1,300 people in here right now, and I would love to expose it to 1,300 more people. We can all watch it together, okay? And nobody will laugh at you. No, we're all gonna have a good time, because we've all done something this embarrassing, right, chat? We've all been there. Who among us hasn't done a long, extensive impression of the nostalgia critic to their teacher? Unironically true. Uh-oh! So that's 2 guys. 2 guys have done that. I did shit like that in high school. 3 guys. 3 guys. I was kidding. My bad. I think I tricked you people. My bad. I Bugs Bunnied you. Unironically, I did do something like this. Okay. All right. Well, I didn't know that everybody was pretending to be the nostalgia critic in AVGN. I guess they were very influential. I talked about the AVGN once, and for some fucking reason, a kid thought it was the title of a porno, and I was known as the school coomer. Angry video game nerd? What is that? Some porno shit? Everybody at that school must have hated you. If not one person saved you from that social interaction, you must be an asshole. It would be so easy to give you, like, their hand to pull you out of that pit. Everybody at that school hates you. Oh yeah, I do think the angry video game nerd is a porn. We all do, right? Everybody is just engaging in this psyop to hate you specifically. I talked about the AVGN literally once.
Kirby's Canvas Curse for the DS is a terrible, awful game.
I've heard.
Here is what happened to me when I was a kid, and how the game broke my DS.
Did you break your DS? I'm gonna go ahead and guess you broke your DS. I don't think the game did it.
As a child, I have always had a hard time controlling my anger when playing games.
I didn't even have to hit play. It was literally up there on the screen. I didn't read it, and now there it is. We have our answer. All right, what did you do to Kirby?
And to make matters worse, when I would get mad, my mother would threaten to take the game away, which only fueled that inner fire.
Dude, my kid has done this, and it is crazy to see happen from the other side. My kid got mad at Mario Kart, and I was like, hey, sweetie, if you're not having fun with Mario Kart, we gotta put it away. and she got really angry, which is crazy to watch. Because it's such a weird... It's like seeing the gamer rage when it's somebody that came from you. Watching somebody rage in front of you in private in the comfort of your own home for only you to see, and you have to de-escalate the situation is a very different experience.
One late game level was so hard that even after looking up a walkthrough of it, I couldn't get past it.
Kirby?
Weeks passed and I had it after one particular attempt and yelled. My mother called for me to calm it down or she's taking away my DS, and that sent me over the edge. I looked back at my DS and wanted to teach this game a lesson for not letting me get past this one level.
Snap it in half?
I stood up, took the DS, and smashed it backwards over my knee, splitting it in two.
I think that's a design failure of the DS. It is so easy to snap, and it looks so fun to do. I never owned a DS, but I feel like I would not be able to resist the call of the void.
Just seconds after, I realized I had taken my DS away from myself.
You know, I didn't really think about it that way until you did. That's a very philosophical way of doing it. But you went out on your own terms.
Kirby Canvas Curse got me in so much trouble and broke my DS.
It did not break your DS. Stop saying that.
Kirby.
That's not... You gotta take accountability. We gotta take accountability and be honest with ourselves. It was clearly not Kirby Canvas Curse. They made Kirby's Epic Yarn for this guy. Of all the Kirby games, man.
When I was 15, I worked in a gourmet popsicle shop, and I had a crush on one of the other girls that worked there.
A gourmet popsicle shop?
One day, we were making a batch of pumpkin pie popsicles.
Yum.
She had worked there longer than I had and kept telling me how good they were, so I was excited to try one.
Okay.
When they came out of the blast
Thanks, Tricky,
freezer,
for the prime.
I was busy washing dishes, so she brought me one. She held the pop out for me to grab, but I was elbows deep in dishwater.
Okay.
For some reason, I decided to just lean down and take a bite out of it instead of taking it from her.
Yeah.
I fit as much of it as I could in my mouth and then bit down. Immediately, my teeth sunk into the creamy popsicle. I was stuck. I stood there for about 5 seconds just staring at this super cute girl with the popsicle that was in her hand fused to the roof of my mouth before it occurred to me that my hands still worked.
Okay.
I grabbed the stick from her and wrenched the pop out of my mouth.
Okay.
She just kinda stared at me and walked away. That interaction still haunts me.
I can tell, based on your retelling, this is a way worse situation than it sounds. Like, this doesn't sound that bad, but I'm considering myself in this spot with a girl that I like looking up, having the popsicle, hands in the water. This is like the most vulnerable spot you could be. You're like a rabbit just stuck in a trap. Like, your leg is in a bear trap and you can't get out. You just have to pray that she shows you some mercy. That poor girl. I mean, you could have been really smooth with it. It's kind of flirty if you just take a little bite and, oh, thanks. And then it's funny because, like, you could do... I could see you, you know, being a little riz with it, right? But not the way you did it.
When I was in 7th grade, I went to a Catholic school
Really?
that was grade 6-12, and I was in the school of music.
You didn't even
Oklahoma
try.
that year. I was lucky enough to get a speaking role, so I was mic'd up for the performance.
Okay.
As a 12-year-old, I brought my 3DS everywhere I could, including back...
And I was playing Kirby Canvas Curse, and did you know that game is a piece of shit? That's a terrible game.
I was playing Super Smash Bros. For the 3DS, and showing my friend who was also in the show, specifically Zero Suit Samus, and the fact that her alternate outfits included ones in sports bras.
Okay.
Now I don't remember what exactly got picked up, but the sound system was being run by another student, and apparently the audience heard me talking about Zero Suit Samus.
No way!
Someone had to come backstage and tell me to shut up, and I have been
You were
extra
hot
careful with mic
mic'd?
attacks ever since, even muting them backstage manually even when I was told not to.
Oh my god, that's insane. That is unbelievable. It depends on what you said, though. Because I think the audience would not know who Zero Suit Samus is. But if you were talking about her sports bra costume, Zero Suit sounds bad. Yeah, but, like, that could be, like, a cool sci-fi thing, right? Hot mic middle schooler has got to be the worst thing ever. Yeah, I don't think anything that you say in middle school should ever be broadcast to anyone.
This story takes place in Appalachia, Kentucky.
Uh-huh.
I am 17. Me and my friends decide to get way too much alcohol and do some airsoft in the middle of the forest.
Sounds awesome.
Long story short, it was 40 degrees.
Never mind.
raining,
What
and
the
there
fuck
was a
are you
new moon,
doing?
so we couldn't see hardly at all.
Why are you doing that?
We
Go
skip the
home.
airsoft and drink heavily.
Doing
I
it
end
in the
up
rain.
shirtless, face down on wet grass, passed out. I throw up, ask for a flashlight to see the vomit, say vomit, and pass out again.
What?
When they eventually get me in a tent, I wake up to pee and leave the tent flap open.
Okay.
I decide that I actually want to drive back home.
No, don't do that. Don't
Unfortunately,
do
I
that.
can't find my way back, so I just kinda give up and take a nap in an abandoned shack we found previously.
Fuck, this
My
thing is
friends run to the
breakneck
shack,
pace.
freezing and soaking wet, saying to me, "Is gone and the fucking tent was open."
What?
They have the great idea to build a fire for.
What is going
Sure.
on here?
Well, we do end up pretty toasty.
Are you
One of
drunk
them nearly
now?
faints from smoke inhalation.
What?
We make our way back to our cars, and I realize I had previously locked my keys in
Oh
my trunk.
no!
I am 23 now and can say that is the most drunk I have ever been.
I don't know. I don't know if you were fully sober writing this story. I'm gonna be 100% honest. That thing was breakneck. That was like the last 30 minutes of Uncut Gems. That was stressful. What are you even talking about? Guy got really drunk and had one of the worst nights of his life.
When I was in the 2nd or 3rd grade,
Yeah!
when I was in the 2nd or 3rd grade,
Let's
I was invited to
go!
a friend's birthday party. It was in their backyard and they had a pool, so it was a big ass pool party. A lot of my friends were just asshole kids, so they found fun in pushing people into the pool when they weren't paying attention, and then
Very
laughing
funny.
as they got frustrated.
That's very funny
I thought,
to
hey,
do.
let me try that. And I turned around and pushed someone in.
Mm-hmm.
I thought I was so cool, until seconds later when I heard the kid in the pool
Oh.
making noises other than frustration. For you see, the kid I pushed in didn't know how to swim.
Maybe that's good for him. Maybe he'll learn. I don't know. They do that to infants, bro. He'll figure it out. My biggest conspiracy theory is that everybody knows how to swim. I don't think people do not know how to swim. If you got pushed into a pool and you can't get out of the pool, you're just like a sim without a ladder. Just, oh, hell. I don't want to say it's natural selection, right? But, like, come on, man. Like, make an effort. Some folks don't have instincts. Your instincts are installed, dude. They came with evolution. Yes, you do. As a swim instructor, people do not know how to swim. How? How do people... I genuinely... This is unbelievable to me. If you are pushed into a pool, perhaps a foot or two from the wall, you can't make it to the wall, die. Are you serious? Whistle now, big guy. Okay, mouth shape is not the same as swimming ability. That's not the same. The way that my mouth is shaped is not the same as everybody got arms. If you push a guy with no arms or no legs into a pool, his name must be Bob. Sorry, that old joke came into my mind as I was saying that. If a guy has arms and legs, he can make it to the wall. I literally learned how to whistle late in life. It's your fault. Your experience is not universal, man. What are you talking about? What kind of narcissism is that? Also, what is late in life to you? Are you 21? Your late in life and my late in life are not the same. Are you near death? Are you in hospice? How old is that chatter? What if you push him into a hot tub, then his name is Stu? I've never heard that one. That's really good. That's an A+ one.
When I was 15, I was pretty into Game Grumps and
Sure.
would watch their Battle Kit playthrough a lot.
Yeah.
On what was probably the last time I watched that playthrough, I had the bright idea to grab my Wii U gamepad and acted as if I was Aaron playing the game, and even would try to lip sync what he said. What's worse is that my brother caught me doing it on account that our desks were right next to each other.
Oh my god. This is such an embarrassing kid thing to do. I can picture I can see you in my mind's eye doing this thing. And it's not a pretty picture.
He looks at me with the most confused look and asks what I was doing. And before I could even answer, he realized what I was doing and started laughing at me.
Pretending to be Aaron from the Game Grumps. I pretend to do this with Coney. Someone does, right? Just by pure numbers, someone has. Someone has been at their house pretending to be me. I got my girlfriend to start doing the big ass voice. I love it when the stupid bullshit from the stream not only infects us, but the people around us, right? That brainworm bullshit starts to take hold on the rest of our lives. Uh-oh.
When I started high school, I was carrying the weight of being bullied throughout middle school.
Okay.
One of the first girls to be kind to me became a great friend, and naturally, I developed a crush on her. She became
Big
so
crush.
close to me that even my family liked her.
Aw.
One random Tuesday, while I was immersed in playing Grand Theft Auto V, my phone rang. It was her. I eagerly answered because I loved talking to her.
Okay.
But this call took a turn I didn't expect. She was calling too excited to tell me she'd just lost her virginity and wanted me to be the first to know.
No way. I've never heard of anything like that.
The kicker? I had the call on speakerphone in the living room.
Oh.
So, not only did I get blindsided by this news, but my parents heard every word too.
Your parents who know that you're into her and she's like a family friend. That's not even funny. That's so sad. I don't know if I could tell. I mean, I could definitely tell that kid it gets better because everything's better than that. This kid might have it the worst. That kid's gonna pop his ult for sure. Ult is ready, yeah. That guy's fully charged. Oh my god, dude. She had to have known that you liked her, right? Surely. Why would she call you? She was so excited to tell her best friend. Oh, dude. First Cringe Confessional where it's entirely on the other person. Yeah, this guy's like completely blameless. Your blame here is getting attached for somebody being nice to you, I guess. Having a crush. Human emotions. That's really sad. I'm sorry, Chatter. Holy shit. I don't know if I'd be able to recover.
When I was a very young kid, I think I was in preschool or grade 1.
Okay.
My dad was installing a new larger side gate.
Right.
So he could store his boat at the side of the house.
Mm-hmm.
He was using his angle grinder to cut something, and wouldn't let me get close.
Okay.
So being a curious kid, when a piece of metal popped off and rolled towards me, I picked it up,
Right.
eager to find out what he was cutting. Bad mistake. This very quickly burned 3 of my
Ooh.
fingers on my right hand. I yelped in pain and my dad turned around to see I had burned myself on the cutoff.
I wouldn't know that was hot
He
either.
took me to my
that
mom,
might
who
happen
was
to
a
me
doctor,
now.
and helped me treat the burn.
Dr. Mom? Boat installing side gate dad and Dr. Mom? Drop 10 gifties right now.
My mom,
Holy
who was a
shit.
doctor, and when that was done,
Whoever
I went
you
back
are.
to watch my dad again. He was cutting with the angle grinder again.
Uh-huh.
Another cutoff flew in my direction after a couple minutes.
Pick it up.
Not having put together it was hot yet, I picked up the new cutoff, and shortly thereafter I yelped in pain again.
Okay, with how much money your parents seem to make, they should have sent you to a very good private school. The parents are realizing, like, oh, we're failing Jeremy. We gotta help this guy. This is what guinea pigs do.
My dad turned around to see what happened, but I pretended nothing had happened, afraid he would be angry.
I would be
But
angry.
after a couple minutes I was bawling from the pain of my skin peeling.
Oh my
And
god!
ended up finding out. Back to my mom to get the last 2 fingers on my right hand treated. My dad realized I hadn't put the 2 together yet, and told me that I shouldn't pick up the cutoffs shortly after he cut them, as they would be hot.
Whatever you do, stop picking up the metal rods.
So back to watching my dad cutting more with his
No
angle
way.
grinder.
No way.
This time when a
There's
cutoff flew towards
no-
me, I waited.
Don't.
When Dad was done cutting, I pointed to the cutoff and asked him if it was still hot and whether I could pick it up. He didn't see it and asked is what safe to pick up. And so I eagerly bent over to pick the final cutoff up with my left hand and show it to him. Yep, it was still hot. At the end of the day, 8 of my fingers were badly burned and wrapped in bandages. I still cringe from this memory whenever I think of it, but vaguely remember being happy when getting to school and realizing I wouldn't have to write anything for more than a week.
Oh my god. That has to have been the funniest story in Cringe Confessional. It's just a rule of 3. Dude, it's perfect. It is a perfect story. Top to bottom. Imagine being that dead. You just had to talk with him. Do not pick up the cutoff. Whatever you do not pick it up. Oh my god, you should sell that story to Hollywood, man. The mom has a recurring patient. Her son, once again, has burned his other hand. It 100% happened, too. Oh, I absolutely believe this one. This is too specific to not happen.
So I was around 13 or so, and my brother and I were playing Ticket to Ride with my mom.
Okay.
I was talking about Shrek because I had watched a YouTube video on an erotic Shrek novel the day earlier.
What?
And my brother brought up how it was odd that donkey and dragon got together and literally had babies.
That is weird.
I was
Yeah.
just chilling, thinking about my turn, while my brother talks about the logistics of donkey-dragon lovemaking, and
Right.
my mom proceeds to say, and I quote, "Donkey can just crawl in her nether regions and jack off."
He could, couldn't he? Because, like, he's not going to get any friction. Based, Mom? Your mom's funny. Your mom's cool as shit.
I still think about that to this day.
Oh, is that the rest of the story? That's not even a cringe story. That's awesome. Your mom's funny as shit. Your mom's awesome. I like that one. I'm going to think about that too now.
I was in a friendship recently turned situationship with a girl we will call Jane. One day, during summer break, I come over to her place at 2.
Right.
Her mom is supposed to get off of work at 4, so we have the house to ourselves for 2 hours.
Okay.
At some point, we both get in the shower.
Mm-hmm.
We are messing around in there when we hear a knock on one of the 2 bathroom doors, and the Jane's mom calls her name. We lock eyes and start panicking. Her mom knocks again, saying she needs to come in to grab something.
This is an
Obviously,
American Pie
that can't
setup.
happen, so Jane calls the black, asking for a second as I put my clothes off and try to slip through the other bathroom door that her mom isn't at.
Okay, is this real? Did this happen in a show?
As I open the door, hair soaked, her mom rounds the corner and locks eyes with me and throws a ha like she solved some great mystery, and we walk right by each other as she grabs whatever she needed and leaves the house.
We got some cool-ass moms tonight. Dude, these moms are awesome. Aha! And it just keeps going. Doesn't even say anything about it. Just, she knew it. She knew it. You were not as sneaky as you thought you were. That's so funny.
Apparently later, when Jane and her mom had a conversation about it, the first thing her mom said was, "You should have seen the look on her face. We are dating now, and sometimes Jane's mom will see haha at random points, and we still get embarrassed."
Mom has a catchphrase? Does she just always do that? Dude, Jane's mom is awesome. She is so fucking funny. I love her mom, bro. That's so good. Mom just keeps popping the aha to remind you that she did catch you. She knew it, and she got you in the middle of it.
Me and my online friend group used to have this hilarious bit where, whenever we got hit or killed in a video game, we would do the most realistic moan possible. We continued this bit
Okay.
all the way up until I started college, where I managed the massive feat of making real friends. One day, a few of them were talking about playing Valorant for the first time, and I
Valorant?
foolishly agreed to join them.
Oh no.
This turned out to be the worst mistake I've ever made, and I'm
Muscle
sure you
memory,
can guess
muscle
why.
memory, you died and
At
then...
this point, the
Yeah,
bit about
yeah.
moaning whenever
Yup,
I get
yup.
killed in a game has lasted so long that it became second nature.
Oh my god.
I do it without even knowing that I'm doing it.
I get it.
During the very first round of our game, I turn a corner and immediately get killed in one hit.
Oh.
Now, dear viewer, I have neglected to
There's
mention
more!
one small detail up until this point. One of the friends playing with us is my crush.
Dude.
Cue me letting out the most absurd, over-the-top moan ripped straight from an adult film.
Oh.
Everyone goes dead silent, and the worst part, I didn't even notice. I just keep playing the game like normal, oblivious to the horrors I just unleashed on these poor souls that I've known for less than a few months.
Dude.
By the time I
Dude.
realized what I had done, it was too late.
Dude, you ever do something really embarrassing and you realize it like 3 minutes later and you're like, wait, did that happen? Did I think that happened? Did my brain invent that as like a nightmare scenario that never came to pass?
After the semester was over and we no longer shared classes, we understandably never stayed in contact.
Yeah.
However, it did put me in the position to successfully ask out the goth girl from my other class, so I guess I can't complain.
Okay. Happy ending, I guess. You got the goth GF. Good for you, dude. Dude, I know what you mean about things being second nature. I had this habit of whenever I would play friendlies in Smash, whenever something stupid would happen, I would pause. And, I would pause and then, unpause really quick. And I'm sure you guys have noticed when I play online games, I do it all the time.
So I decided to talk to a girl a couple years older than me that I had a crush on.
Sure.
It was lunch and the cafeteria was serving Fat Boy ice cream sandwiches.
I know what those are.
So
What'd
I
you
walked up to this girl who knew me but not that well and decided to say, "Hey Abby, do you mind if I adopt your fat boy?" All of a sudden a look of dread came across her face and she ran out of the lunchroom crying. The entire cafeteria then turned to me wondering what I said when I myself didn't know.
Uh-huh.
By the way, we also went to the same church.
Okay.
A while ago I finally talked to her and she gave me context to her side of the story.
Uh-huh.
Her family was very religious and a week before I talked to her she had lost her virginity.
Uh-huh.
When I said that line she was terrified because she thought that somehow I was a messenger from God sent to tell her she was pregnant or something.
Oh.
So in fear she ran away crying. But she tells me now how silly that was.
Yeah.
Especially because she was a lesbian and did it with another girl.
Okay. Oh, that is quite a twist. That's quite an ending you got there. Okay. I mean, if you were a messenger from God, if I was convinced you're a messenger from God, I would, I think, be more convinced that was the case if it was a lesbian sex and somehow it was very divine. Like, if it happened that way, then it was God's will, right? Jesus Christ, man. If God put that during sapphic lovemaking, right? Life finds a way. There's a whole movie about this. This is a failure of the sex ed system.
One time, in high school, I decided it would be a good idea to imitate moaning sounds in my school restroom.
I told you it's an epidemic. Seriously, kids do this now. They think it's so funny to do this dumb bullshit. It's real.
I guess I moaned well since a minute into it. The principal and two other teachers burst into the restroom, looking for the couple that was making out. And guess who the only one in the restroom was? There also happened to be a hole in the roof of the restroom, so I have to sit in the office while they get a ladder and flashlights to go into the roof and look for a girl that escaped into the ceiling of the restroom stall.
Like the facility in GoldenEye. They think they went up into the little vent. You think she got away? You're like propped her up there? Alright, sure.
I was waiting in the office for the rest of the school day, and the principal explained to my dad that I was getting lunch detention and had me explain why in front of them. The next day I go back to school, my friends end up asking me who I got pegged by, and don't believe me when I told them what happened. My friends think I'm a gay exhibitionist now because of that.
It does kind of sound like you made it up. It does kind of sound like you're making it up, and you are deeply ashamed of who you are, and I don't think you should be, Chatter. I think you should let it fly, okay? This is anonymous, by the way. I don't know who you are, right? Come on.
I went from a Christian private to a public school in 7th grade, getting exposed to quite a lot of new lingo. I heard one of these hot new terms at school.
Yeah.
And of course, wanting to be cool, I tried to work it into my normal vocabulary.
Sure.
The context in which I saw this particular word was as another way to say, gotcha. Or something along the lines of,
what was the
it
word?
also came along with a cool hand gesture you did with it.
Okay.
Looking like you're throwing something at someone's face but with your fingers splayed.
Okay, so like this. Like that? Definitely a slur. You say it. I'd rather you do first.
Think flicking water off your fingers.
I see it. I can
So,
visualize
at dinner
it.
that night, my dad made the joke towards my mom. We laughed and I followed it up with facial, while making a tossing motion with my hand towards her face.
Christopher, where did you learn that? That is your mother, young man. facial. I'm gonna do that to you, chat. You guys better be nice. We got the cactus, we got the vat of acid, and now facial. I'm sending it to you. Oh, God.
Of course, both my parents and my brother stared at me in confusion.
Where did you even
and a
learn
bit of
this
disgust.
word?
I had no idea what the word actually meant,
Yeah.
or what the hand motion implied.
Right?
A few years later, I eventually pieced it
Don't
together
say
and
that.
realized
Don't-
what I had implied
Yeah.
I was doing to my own mother.
Oh, did they not talk to you about that and tell you to stop? A few years later is a long time to let you keep doing that or for you to understand it. That should have been nipped in the bud immediately. That should have been something that was talked about that day. Never ever do that again.
For some context, my GF and I had broken up about a year prior to the events of this story.
Right.
We were just trying things out again, and it was week 2 or 3 when this happened. Anyway, I put Disney's Hercules on while I was getting it on with my her.
Which song was it? How far did you get? It's not Go the Distance, right? That would be... That's gotta be a strange one. I can reach the stars!
When they go to zero to hero, I asked if he could stop so I could watch the song.
Isn't that an early song? That's pretty... Wait, babe, stop. Gotta get in the mood. I need some inspiration. Okay? Alright.
She just kinda stared at me and said fine. One gospel-themed heroic montage later, we finished doing the deed, and she went to sleep immediately afterwards.
Dude, imagine being that girlfriend in a dark room, the soft light of the TV playing Zero to Hero from Disney's Hercules. Wait, Hercules is about to begin his epic journey. I wonder if he'll escape demigodhood. You're just sitting in the dark room with your boyfriend who you used to feel some level of attraction for. Your heart rate is falling. You know he's gonna want to finish after it, but you just have to wait the 2 minutes and 22 seconds. Yeah, you would have to, like, get back in the mood after that. That sounds uncomfortable, right? Okay, then what
A
happened?
week later we ended things.
Yeah.
And I asked directly if it was
Yes.
because of Hercules, and she said, yes.
Disney's Hercules ended my relationship! Hercules killed my girlfriend's relationship!
That was what finalized the decision.
Yeah, obviously, man. I don't think anybody would stay with you for that, and if they did, you should marry them immediately. I would date this guy. No, you wouldn't. Guy who has to watch Zero to Hero every time it's on. The guy also chose Hercules. It's not like she chose it, and he was like, oh, wait, I kind of like this. He put it on specifically to stop for that. Thanks for watching Cringe Confessional, YouTube. What was your favorite story? Mine was definitely the guy that kept picking up the little cutoff things. That is one of my favorite stories I've ever heard on YouTube or otherwise, in general. That might be the greatest story ever told. Thanks for watching. Let's say goodbye to Twitch. I'm worried that Twitch has been inflicted with a terrible rot. They keep saying facial. They won't stop doing that. There they go. Facial, facial. Watch out, YouTube. This is so gross. Subscribe to the channel. Like the video. See you next time. Goodbye, YouTube. So long. Goodbye.